Well, I believe in good vibrations is what creates a beautiful nation. All you need is the will to do right, do right, do right.
And we're live. Welcome to a brand new Anecdotal Arguments. I'm your host, Jay Fry. And with me is Sean. How's it going, Sean?
Hey, it's the week before Christmas, and I got the whole week off.
Look at you. You
Yeah.
you want to give the introduction to this the stream tonight?
Why? You do it better than I do.
I always I decide which layer I'm gonna do, and then I just go with it. All right, so we'll do Anecdotally Merry Christmas. Adele from West Virginia saved us all. I guess we're leaving out Cinema, who is still hiding in a bathroom somewhere.
Yeah, she very luckily managed to take the blow for this. I don't know which way she voted yet because I haven't be arsed out to look because it doesn't fucking matter really. But
It's because she's bi.
yeah. She's fun to look at, but man, she's not the best.
Not in this picture.
I mean, for a middle-aged woman, she's fun to look at.
Yeah. Not for me. I prefer mine less gay.
Whatever. She's a grifter.
Fine.
She's a grifter, and she's what we got, so whatever. As long as she continues to pander to the actual red state she's from, then we're not going to have too much of a beef with her.
Speaking of grifters, did you want to fill us in on the Jack Murphy quartering shenanigans? I don't watch quartering.
I don't watch the quartering either. Well, I shouldn't say that. I occasionally watch the quartering, but not really because when push comes to shove, he doesn't shove. So
he skedaddles like the cockroach when the lights come on.
I don't want to give him too much shit because safety's a thing, but at some point you have to stand up for your principles, and when push comes to shove, he doesn't shove. He doesn't stand up for them. So he'll talk a lot of yang with his internet muscle, but he won't he won't do it where the rubber hits the road. So I'm lukewarm on him. But he did appropriately call out Jack Murphy for being incredibly rude to Sydney Watson.
Now, I actually watched it, so I'm not particularly sure if his animosity was at Sydney or at the repeat. Oh, by the way, fuck you for cucking your wife. But I wasn't sure if it was directed at her or at the person who had repeatedly brought it up, doing it intentionally to be dickish.
I don't think it matters, honestly. You lose when you lose your cool, as we witnessed in that goat rodeo of an RA, the rugged man thing on Tim Pool. Once you lose your cool, you lose.
Oh, it's Rugged Man?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I feel bad for that ragging man. I assumed that was topical.
Yeah, no, he is a gigantic piece of shit, but we'll get there eventually, I'm sure. But back to the quartering and the Jack Murphy thing. Yeah, turns out Jack Murphy, being a liberal, wrote an article for I don't remember who about how he basically cucked his wife, or was a cuck for his wife, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to come down too hard on him, but for a guy who claims to be an alpha male and teaches guys how to be an alpha male and blah 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 blah, whatever it is, fucking grift is, that was a bitch move. And if you're really an alpha, you don't go around telling people you're an alpha. You just do what you do. If some unsightly stuff comes up from your past, you address it like a fucking man and go, yeah, That was in the past. I've had a change of heart and a change of mind, and I'm doing this now. So let that be in the past. It has no relevance on who I am today. Let's move forward. It's not hard to do, but instead
Well,
he gets butthurt and pissy about it because, like most beta males who pretend they're alphas, he cannot stand to be challenged.
I get a challenge all the time, and I don't mind it because I am an alpha man.
Yeah, I mean,
It's on my business cards.
you can tell me I'm wrong. You can come at me hard. I really don't give a shit. There are times when I am wrong. It doesn't fucking matter.
I do not like being wrong.
I don't like being wrong. Nobody does. But if you're wrong and you get shown that you're wrong, you just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, move on.
I also don't like being wrong live. That also hurts a lot.
And getting... He should have expected at some point, having written that article and then doing what he's doing, he should have had a prepped answer in response to this. He obviously did not, meaning he wasn't smart enough to realize he thought it was never going to come up. Yeah. He's a fool. He's an absolute fool.
I don't think of writers and alphas being in the same area. Like, an alpha might have a story written about him. I just don't picture alphas going around doing a lot of writing of their own, like with
who
thick
was
interior monologues. And
who wrote Old Man in the Sea?
Hemingway.
Hemingway's an alpha male.
Hemingway is the only man who could kill Hemingway, apparently, as well.
Oh, so he's got that in common with Hitler.
Oh, say what you want about Hitler, but Hitler killed Hitler, and that makes him an American hero. Yeah. I also don't like that he goes around boasting about being a 2-time Muay Thai champion. Because I am a 5-time Muay Thai champion. And we get that from being of a weight class in which no one participates. Because Muay Thai is a hell of a workout. And if you're over 220, which Jack Murphy's 240 now, so at the time he was probably even more, you don't have competition. You do your training and you practice because you are constantly moving. Like, there's the gussy up and the Frazier and the Ali little shuffles, but Muay Thai is a step and a leg raise every second to second and a half. And it is something incredibly exhausting to do in a time period in which you're also throwing kicks and punches. It's like being a Navy SEAL. Navy SEALs are one of the largest special forces dudes in the country. If you look at a Green Beret will be 5'6", 5'7" tops, because a Green Beret, having to be incredibly intelligent, they are smart men because they do have to pass a language test, and it's a fake language. Like, they sit down and there's a fake language that they learn in the course of an hour to 2 hours, and they take a test based on that fake language to decide if they can be dropped off in some other fucking country and pick up enough words to be able to direct a guerrilla force to fight in that particular arena. So their keys are being smart, able to run 100 miles, and shoot the wings off a gnat at 100 yards. So that does not lend itself to large men. SEALs have to do similar things with the excessive running and the lifting and the grunting without the language skills, and in water. So
and
that lends itself.
And be drowned.
Yeah, that, don't forget that part. And you go to exhaustion. And if you are stubborn enough, a 6'2" man can become a SEAL. A 6'4" man can become a SEAL. A 6'4" man, no matter how slender, cannot become a Green Beret. They don't have the wherewithal for it. Because it's more than just not quitting. A SEAL not quit is a different beast altogether. So being a large man, in a mixed martial arts, such as because what I did was Muay Thai kickboxing with submission wrestling because I was a wrestler in high school. You end up, I fought 3 times. I won all 3 matches, but in total, in actual fights, 3-0. There are guys out there who are 5'4" and 112 pounds who have 200 matches a year. I had 3 matches in 5 years because you have to have someone of your weight class, which mine was over 175 kilos. 100, no, 125 kilos. I was, so you 5'7" or 5'11" in a Green Beret, probably one of the tallest Green Berets on the planet. So yeah, they just Chris Kyle was 6'2", 220. And he is one of the arguably larger Navy SEALs that came out of Navy SEAL training. So, damn, Pop is 5'11" in a Green Beret. Who's Pop?
His dad.
Oh, his pops was 5'11"? Nice. Hunter S. Thompson was, I wouldn't call him an alpha. He was definitely on his own wavelength, but there's certain things it takes to be an alpha, and like not backing down can be one of them, and it cannot be one of them, depending all on what you deem alpha skills to be. But he was far too much of a loner to even be considered in that hierarchy.
So he's a Sigma?
What the fuck ever. I hate those terms.
Well, yeah, they're happy ass horseshit. I mean, I get what they mean by alpha and beta because some men are passive, some men are not. But yeah, it falls apart after a certain base level. Because you can be a confident person and be non-confrontational.
Mm-hmm.
And then nobody would judge you as an alpha. But it just means you don't give a shit about dominance hierarchies, which I consider myself in that group. I could give a shit. Who's an alpha, who's a beta, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter to me. And you can call me whatever the fuck you want. I just don't give a shit.
Did you ever figure out who Roosh was?
I didn't bother looking him up. I really just don't care. I hear the name periodically from you and from some other people. And I'm just like, whatever, don't care.
He was like a pickup artist, men's rights activist, douchebag. Pretty sure he was Iranian.
Isn't that the dude that found Jesus and then ended up blonde? Shut up, dog. With Blonde interviewing him?
Possibly. She has some really shit interviews out there. Okay, that doesn't make him alpha. That makes him an asshole.
Yeah, he was an asshole.
No one could tell Hunter he couldn't shoot guns and set off explosive joints. That's like calling Hunter Biden an alpha because no one's going to tell him what he can't smoke from a crack pipe. But to have an alpha, you have to have a pack.
Right.
You know, it's a wolf hierarchy. You know, you can't just be a lone wolf alpha. You're just a rogue at that point. And if anything describes Hunter S. Thompson, it's a rogue. I don't picture writers as alphas. It's almost like a teacher at that point, and teachers are absolutely not alphas.
General teachers I would agree with, but something like a sensei could be an alpha.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. but that's not a. At a certain point in a martial artist's training, they've mastered their skills as far as they can, and the only way they can further master those skills is to begin at the basics, training somebody else to apply their new mind to their old martial arts. So that is a sensei or an actual leader. I don't think going to a school and learning geography from a map leader per se. It's when you are in martial arts, once you get a significant rank, blue belt, green belt, depending on the different styles of belts that there are, you then have to start helping with the newest of the new white belts to redefine yourself and to help in that class. And there's also things just like paying dues to the type of training that you're doing that's involved. Staying late, cleaning mats, things like that is it's a humbling thing to keep you.
Shut up. Not you, the dog.
I'm a 5-time Muay Thai kickboxing champion. Do not make me roundhouse your dog, which is not actually technically a move. What kind of dog do you have again?
I got two. I got a Chiweenie, which is the one that was in here and barked in the microphone.
I'll fight that one. Okay, cool.
And then I've got a Stepford Terrier with some Bulldog and some Lab. Staffordshire Terrier? Whatever that
Send me a picture of that dog when we're done here. I just want to see what this fucking thing. A bulldog and a lab and something else. It's a hell of a combination.
Yeah, he's a mutt.
I just want to see what he got from where, because I fucking love looking up anything mixed with corgi.
Yeah, he's not. He's definitely not. He's got big long legs. He's a big dog.
Yeah. Oh, is he? Okay. No, corgis are they're base dominant, which means like their skeletal structure is a dominant gene. So when they breed with any other animal, everything from the other animal is more dominant than the corgi, except the skeletal structure. So it's like making babies. Like even when the dog's 6 years old, it's still going to look like a baby because it's got a corgi body on it, and they're so freaking cute. It would be really mean to take a Rottweiler and put a skeletal structure of a Chiweenie sounds more masculine than a frickin' Rott corgi. I don't even know how they're made. I'm pretty sure it's got to be insemination. Because I had a Rott and a pug, and the pug just humped the Rott's shoulder. It knew better. He doesn't work in education. Well, he's doing this alpha force male training thing that's called something intellectual. I can't think of the name of it. But he's doing meetups, and both Tim and the crew over at what are we doing?
This is basically what the dog looks like. Let me go down here. Where's that?
What
pic?
the
This pic. Well, I guess it's not changing on the share, so it's basically this pic right here.
Oh, that's just looks like a pit.
Yeah, he looks like if you look at him from behind, he looks like a lab. You look at him from the front, he looks like a pit.
No, that'd be good to differentiate. But yeah, in Michigan, they because I'm so close to Detroit, they're pretty anti-pit. But the not slightly offensive, the You Are Here crew and the Jack Murphy crew are taking a slice out of the Beauty and the Beta meetups and attempting to intermingle their males and their females. which you know the help they can get after they've had on John Doyle and Nick Fuentes, who are very much in the same girls are icky camp. I'm pretty sure Maynard and Black Magic are going to be fighting over Cowboy Bebop now, thanks to what's that, Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix
Think it
did
was
a
on?
live version.
What a turd.
And it was garbage.
Yeah. My Muay Thai instructor was very much a hippie, and was absolutely not about the injuring of other people. But my submission wrestling instructor was like, and if you hold here and you dig in your finger, you can rip his larynx out. Don't do that. I'm just saying, though. If you twist like this, you can just pull that sucker right out. You ever want to flick somebody's hyoid point and break it in half? I got a move for it. I'll show you later. But I'm also pretty sure my instructor only had like 20% hearing because his ears were so freaking cauliflowered.
Yeah, never take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from somebody whose ears aren't completely fucked up. They don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. I was lucky. It was our third week of training, and it was my freshman year, and we had our first guest wrestler come in, and he had it was just his right ear. His left ear was perfectly fine, but his right ear was a piece of cauliflower. And that night, I'm pretty sure like half the wrestlers drove home with their helmets on. I know I did. Like, I never took that thing off. And it would be like a funny thing to watch. It's like as soon as they got off the mat, these guys would be taking their helmets. Well, it's not helmet. It's ear pads and like straps. Mm. But first thing they do is fling it off, and like everyone on my team was still wearing theirs. Like, they just take the strap off their chins. But we had no. I'm from Michigan. I moved to Tennessee in 2015. Tired?
Yeah, I did absolutely nothing pretty much all day.
Yeah, that'll do it to you.
Yep. It was glorious.
Nice. Where the hell's Steven? I wonder what he's up to. Probably gym. Terrence Pop is right in the corner from you. You should at least check out his channel. Oh, I'll give it a look. Yeah, if you find me a link, send me a link to it. I'll check it out.
So, Princess Bride.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I thought that's right. That's supposed to be first. Princess Bride, to me, I love that movie. It's a 5 out of 5.
Absolutely, it's one of the best movies ever made.
Absolutely,
holds up to this day. It's what, 30 years later?
Minus the rats of an unusual size, it does. They never really did match up.
Yeah,
or they never did really hold up.
Exist.
Well, they didn't hold up well because you could see like the knees.
Right.
But other than that, oh yeah, great movie.
Yeah, and it's I said in the chat last night, it's like one of the last everyone movies. Like it's not for chicks, it's not for kids, it's not for dudes. It's just an everyone movie.
Yeah. Shame about the name, really. But other than that, because it does sound like a chick flick.
It does. But then every dude that I've known that hadn't seen it and then their girlfriend or whatever got them to see it, they're like, no, this movie's awesome. Because it is a good movie. It's not femme power. It's not anti-woman. It's got the right balance of action and comedy and drama, and it's just a good story.
Yeah, she is a damsel in distress.
She is, but so she does
I
kick
don't.
him down a hill.
Yeah, but as far as girl power goes, that's all she's got.
She jumps down 2 stories on top of a horse. I bet she had just a thrill doing that.
Well, so did Wesley. I can't imagine that was any better for him.
No, it's probably decidedly worse.
Anybody want a peanut? Have you seen Dinner with Andre?
No.
It's it's a movie based on um, Sean Wallace, Inconceivable.
Right.
It has a sit down dinner with Andre the Giant. And they have a conversation, and just seeing them together is just hilarious. Andre the Giant once drank 156 cans of beer,
Yeah.
and passed out. I think it was in the Waldorf lobby, and they couldn't move him. They had to set up like a do not disturb kind of thing around him, like a barrier. Just don't walk over this guy if you don't mind. Just a large freaking man.
Yeah. I mean, if you needed any concept, this is. Let me get it pulled up here. This is him holding a normal-sized beer can.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 12-ounce beer.
Yeah.
Dude was huge.
Yeah, just a big fucking dude.
Ridiculously big. Yeah, that one's not going to pop up.
He makes Roddy Piper look small.
He does. And Roddy Piper, while not a huge dude,
He's a big dude.
was a big dude. Yeah, I mean, he was probably, 5'11"? 6 foot?
Roddy might have been 6'2".
Like in any other context, he's freaking huge. It's like that picture of The Rock standing next to.
Oh, Shaq and Charles Barkley.
Yep. I'll look that one up too.
Mm. 6 foot even.
Yeah, so here's. Here's that picture of Shaq, Charles Barkley, and The Rock, and then Marky Mark.
Yeah. Rock is 6'4".
Which means Marky Mark's not small either. You always think of him
6
as
foot.
small.
He's 6
Yeah,
foot.
but
Yeah.
he's actually a fairly big dude. But Shaq is insanely big. I've met the dude. He's ridiculously big. And then
Look at him next to John Cena, who's also a large man. Under the armpit.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Andre the Giant, and Will Chamberlain.
Was Andre the Giant in Conan the Destroyer?
No. He was just on the set.
Will Chamberlain's like 7'1".
Yeah, he's huge.
Like it's Shaq next to Kevin Hart. This is my youngest son. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I come up to about here on Shaq. Dude's huge. I might be able to see over the size of his shoulder. Maybe, but dude's huge.
That is crazy. Yeah, so I expect a pretty good. 5 out of 5. It should be another 5 out of 5.
Absolutely. I could see him going 4 out of 5 just because it ages itself, and he probably doesn't like Fred Savage.
Fred Savage is barely in it.
Well,
And I don't know why he would have an issue with Fred Savage.
Well, I don't either necessarily, but he also doesn't have the time context of Fred Savage in that movie. He was literally playing the kid from the Wonder Years at the same time, and everybody loved that show. And then it was like him doing that, plus he was in this movie. It's basically the same character.
Yeah, he was a sick kid.
Yeah, and it just, I don't know. I agree it's a 5 out of 5. I just don't know that Matt would see it as a 5 out of 5. He'd probably pick it apart somewhere along the line.
I don't see where you could. I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't recognize somebody you've known your whole life with half a mask on, but okay.
Right. Well, the suspension of disbelief. It's a fairy tale. I mean, come on, you gotta give it some.
Nobody's going to tell Andre the Giant to get off set. All you can do is ask politely. I don't know. There's some egos in Hollywood.
Alec Baldwin would try.
Yeah, get off my set. Oh, you want me to point this revolver at you? Is that what you're asking me to do?
Yeah, but shooting Andre the Giant with a 45 would be like shooting a bear. You just piss him off.
He would have been a superstar if he wasn't so freaking French.
Well, can't help that.
Yeah.
He did his best. He did. He tried his best. But
he has like 5-6 movie credits, but they're just couldn't do anything with that accent. It was too much. Like shit, the Paul brothers, the barbarian bodybuilding twins have half a dozen starring roles to their credit, and all they were big dudes, twins. That's all they had going for them, and they still got half a dozen movies. Granted, I fucking love every one of those movies. That's beside the point. God, that would suck so bad. One of the brothers died last year, and to be like a tightly connected twin and have one of them die, that sounds like the other dog.
That's the big dog.
Yeah. Ooh, everything downloaded except for Silverlight, which is discontinued by Microsoft.
Oh, good.
Sweet. Black Magic, drinking some Tullamore Dew, keeping up with the Irish. So, what did Blind get right, and what did Blind get wrong about the latest CNN producer?
I didn't watch most of last night's show because I was not here. I went out to dinner. So
Hey,
I did not see it. I literally got home in time to log in for the V for Vendetta review. So
I didn't pay attention to this one because I'm just disgusted by Project Veritas, or not just the Project Veritas, by the pedophiles. Yeah, but Arnold's first go at movies was Hercules in New York, and he got dubbed. Arnold had serious practice, like between scenes, of an American accent that he was trying to impersonate. There were no Arnold monologues. For about a decade, and Andre didn't give that kind of he didn't put in that kind of effort, even in the WWF back then, because it was WWF. He you're coming together, we're gonna destroy you. And thank you, Andre. because Mean Gene knew better than to correct his English. Mean Gene Okerlund was like 5'4".
Love Mean Gene.
Yeah. I hated Bobby Heenan with a passion. Like before I became an adult, he was probably like the most evil person I knew of. And he liked it. I saw him get interviewed and stuff, and then people were booing him, and he just smiled at everybody. Like he knew which side his bread was buttered on, and it was not a good person. Arnold's a smart guy, and he's you know, for as much as he's got muscles, he also has a brain. And he was a schemer and conniver and got shit done to be where he was. There is no accident in Arnold's career, with the exception of maybe Junior. But he sometimes lost at the game, but more often than not, he won at the game. And Jean-Claude Van Damme's another one. He turned being the. So if you guys don't know this, I probably mentioned it before if you were listening or paying attention. Jean-Claude Van Damme got the role of the original Predator in the movie Predator. So he bankrolled being cast opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger in a movie named after him to a 3-role deal, including Bloodsport and a couple others. He had done some acting. No Retreat, No Surrender, and I think Black Eagle at the time. But he turned starring opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger into a 3-picture deal with him as the lead, and then utterly shat the bed as the Predator to get kicked off so he could train and practice for the movies that he was going to be allowed to do. So these guys are not dummies. Sylvester Stallone, most of the movies he was in back in his early time, Rambo, Rocky, he wrote those himself. So he went from porn star Italian Stallion to the Italian Stallion in a 2-year stint. And half his face is fucking paralyzed, and the guy still made it major leagues in Hollywood. One of the all-time action heroes of the genre.
What was the...
These guys aren't dummies.
There was an Arnie movie. What was it? Last Action Hero? Where he put Stallone as like the action hero
Terminator
in the movie. Yeah, he was like the Terminator or something like that. I thought that was kind of a cool.
It's a good. Well, they're buddies.
Right.
They're competitive buddies, and Arnie loves competing. But by that time, and Arnie had screwed Stallone over a good couple of times. Stop or my mom will shoot. Arnold lobbied to he had his manager lobby to get the spot so that Stallone would steal it from him because he had read the script. He's like, this is god awful. And his manager's like, so that's a no? He's like, no. Tell him I want it. But don't put in any effort. And Stallone, because Stallone's also a competitive motherfucker, stole it out from underneath Arnold and found out how fucking awful of a movie it was on like day 6 of filming. And I personally still like Stop or Mom Will Shoot for a whole different reason, because sometimes clusterfucks are my favorite thing in life, but Estelle Getty is just fucking adorable.
The youngest of the Golden Girls and the first to pass.
Estelle Getty was the youngest?
She was.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Google that. It's absolutely true.
I mean, I will later, but that's crazy.
Well, the only one left is Betty White.
So she played Dorothy's mom, just based on height?
Yeah. They thought
I
it would
figured
be
she would
funny.
at least
Okay, you got to remember, B. Arthur has been a thing in Hollywood since the 70s. And
Oh, earlier than that, yeah.
yeah, she's been known because she's very, very large and masculine.
A
So
bullshit artist.
the 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 producers thought it would be hilarious to find the smallest grandma-iest little woman they could find to play her mother on the Golden Girls. It's a sight gag. It's an entire show long sight gag.
Huh, I didn't know that. Well, like I know there's been movies where like the parent is like 6, 8, or 10 years older than like Sean Connery and Indiana Jones are like 12 years apart in age.
Right. But there's a certain point in your life where
Harrison
you,
Ford.
you start looking older.
Yeah, and Estelle hit it first apparently.
No, I mean, she was heavily made up for that entire show.
Was she?
Yeah.
I didn't see any difference between her and Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Well, yeah, because that's what they were going for.
Oh, okay, finally, poets here. We can start now. I didn't know that, but I don't really know shit about Blanche, but Rose, she had been, I would argue, the most famous of the bunch. From Mary Tyler Moore show to, like, Betty White started in vaudeville.
Oh, okay, I'm wrong. Rue McCallaghan was actually the youngest.
Oh, Rose was the youngest. That's what I thought.
Yeah, but Betty White and B. Arthur were 63. Estelle Getty was only 62.
That's hilarious, man. That is absolutely. That would have been funny though. If she was the youngest, just for funsies.
Right.
But yeah, Betty White's turning 100 this year.
Next year, yeah.
Is it next year? I think it's. I thought it was like this week.
Let's look. January 17th.
Oh, okay.
So she will turn 100 on January 17th.
So it is next year. Hope she makes it.
She's got a month to go.
Last time, yeah.
She's had 3 husbands.
Only 3?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know Estelle Getty had married a guy in like the 40s and stayed with them like her entire life.
Yeah. She was married once in 1945 to Dick Barker and then married in 1947 to Lane Allen. And that ended in 49. And I don't know if these guys died or they divorced. And then she was married to Alan Ludden from 1963 to 1981. I'm assuming he died in 81. Let's see.
Let's look up.
Yeah, he died. Let's look up Lane Allen.
1, 2,
That was a
3,
divorce.
4, 5, 6. Blanche had 6 husbands. That's fitting for Blanche. I do remember her from Mama's Family and Maude, but the only thing I think of B. Arthur in was History of the World Part 1.
Maud. She had an entire show for herself.
I do remember seeing her on All in the Family a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
What's his Golden Palace? So there's Golden Palace after Golden Girls? With Don Cheadle and Cheech Marin?
What?
It's the Golden Girls movie without B. Arthur called The Golden Palace. In 1992.
Okay.
It's a sequel to The Golden Girls, a continuation. Don Cheadle, Cheech Marin, Billy Sullivan. What do your dogs want, buddy? Shut up.
They just hear stuff and they go out and bark at it.
Yeah. I love Mama's Family. Steven says I love Mama's Family. Yeah, same. And that's the I can't think of anything before that that was a spin-off. But like there was that, but then there was The Simpsons as well. And I think The Simpsons definitely takes the cake.
Like being spun off the
Tracy Ullman show, yeah.
Tracy Ullman show, yeah. I like the Tracy Ullman show.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. It was a good show.
Actually, I thought the wife in Princess Bride was Tracy Ullman for far too long.
No, she was the chick from Taxi. Laka's wife.
She was the grandmama from Addams Family.
Yeah.
But for the long time, I thought it was Tracy Ullman because of Billy Crystal.
Well, I thought the Boo Witch was Tracy Ullman at first too. You know the old hag that comes out and says "Boo, boo." That one, I thought that was Tracy Ullman.
Also potatoes if you make from grain. Yeah, okay. I don't need vodka recipes right now. Thanks, guys. I had a fun fact for Steven. Even though he knows the actual first movie Rose McGowan was in, Encino Man was her first introduction role. Because for some reason I was looking up Brendan Fraser movies. Because I love me some Brendan Fraser. Steven reminds us Tracy Ullman was in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Second best Tracy or Carrie Elwes movie.
Yeah. Mm. Unlike other Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent.
I can speak.
I was just talking about that the other day about accents and Kevin Costner not even using one for Robin Hood. Like, well, I mean, sometimes. Robin Hood, I love that movie. As was Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle did not have an accent for Robin Hood. Men in Tights.
That was like Dave Chappelle's first main thing.
Mm-hmm. And they dressed him up as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot Isaac Hayes was the original whatever the
Chef?
fuck. No. It wasn't Chef.
Chef. That's what I said.
Oh, I thought it was Chef. No, he was the original guy that Morgan Freeman played. A Chew. Or, no, Abu? Whichever one it was.
Achu was the one that Dave Chappelle played.
He was a Sneeze then. Whatever the fuck. I don't care. But he originally was in it. But We're getting off topic again.
Yeah. But do you think Princess Bride will remain on top? Let's see what's. Let me go check the ratings right now.
Oh yeah, you should. Yeah.
Do 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 do. Princess Bride. No. Oh wait.
Oh.
Never mind. I had to scroll up. Yeah, it's winning by a fairly significant margin. 177 votes for Princess Bride. Reservoir Dogs is in second place with 62.
So what do you think Matt will think of Reservoir Dogs?
God, I don't know that he's gonna see it. What's interesting is Full Metal Jacket is in like fourth place, which I kind of expected it to be in number one. Like I expected Full Metal Jacket to be giving Princess Bride a run.
They asked the guy who's next week the next month's humbly asked not to vote for Full Metal Jacket because it's a movie that he wanted to recommend that he cannot possibly replace with something else.
What do you mean?
that was his request. He's like, it's such a good movie, and if it gets taken, I don't think I could replace it with anything else. Like I don't have a recommendation to fill that spot. So he asked it not to be voted in until it's on his turn.
Yeah, I really expected it to be given Princess Bride is the obvious one that Matt needs to see on this list for certain. But Full Metal Jacket is right up there too, and I'm surprised that it's running fourth. And it's behind Reservoir Dogs, Princess Mononoke, and Dread.
Ah, that's weird. Dread is.
It's a good movie, but I don't know that it competes with Full Metal Jacket, Princess Bride, Reservoir Dogs, or American Psycho at all.
It's good, and it's a faithful adaptation of a comic book, which a lot of them are not, especially Judge Dredd. But it being a sequel, not that it had any real reliance on the original in any way, because it doesn't even. They're two completely standalone movies. There is no references to anything having to do with the original Judge Dredd. But
well, it's because it's a remake. It's not a sequel. It's just Carl Urban does Dredd right and doesn't take off the fucking helmet, unlike Sly, who every chance he got took that damn helmet off.
I don't even know if that could be considered a remake.
Well, it's not even the same story. It's just Stallone got the rights to do Judge Dredd and did it, and it's a good action movie, but it's not a Judge Dredd movie.
Rob Schneider fucked that movie up for me. I've never seen Princess Mononoke. I don't even know what it is.
Weeb shit.
Explains that. Weeb shit.
I mean, I've seen it, and as somebody who liked anime at one point, I just didn't particularly care for this one.
I'm kind of bummed that the wild card's put in, because I would like to really do like just a fucking awful list, and get it approved, and I'd be like 6 different Mel Brooks films, or their counters.
I've still got my list. Should I ever get chosen, which I doubt. I've got Escape from New York, L.A. Confidential, Black Dynamite, Harlem Nights, The Usual Suspects, Starship Troopers, which I need to take out and put something else in because he already did that one, Cannonball Run, and The Goonies.
Tango and Cash. Tango and Cash or Face Off?
I was going to go with Soldier.
You might have a little too much Kurt Russell there.
I'm a fan of Kurt Russell.
Oh, dude. I fucking loved him in Sky High.
Yeah, that was remarkably good. He's good in like everything he does. Like I can't think of a bad time. There's been movies at the end that he's in that aren't good, but when he's in it, he does well in the movie.
I'm mad at him for Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Again, shit script, but he did well with it.
Oh no, I hate Ego.
You're
And
supposed to.
yeah, but him playing Ego, I was like, no, son of a bitch. It'd be like if Kurt Russell did the life of Kevin Costner, I'd be upset because he'd make it more charming than it was. Which he could do because they're both huge um, Elvis Presley impersonators.
Yeah.
Weren't they in 3,000 Miles of Graceland together?
Uh, was
Wasn't
Costner in
that?
that? Kevin Costner,
Kurt Russell, Kevin Costner.
Courtney Cox, Christian Slater, David Arquette, Kevin Pollak, and Howie Long.
John Lovitz, Thomas Hayden Church.
Ice-T.
I fucking love me some Lowell, and it's so bad, like so much of a douche he was in Demon Knight. I was like, oh, you piece of shit! Are you gonna stab him in the back, you piece of shit, Lowell? What the fuck? Wings. Oh, such a fucking. There's just some people I can't get out of certain roles, and Thomas Hayden Church is definitely one of them. Actually, I think that might be one of my favorite Billy Zane appearances. That, Phantom, Sniper. I really like Billy Zane in Phantom. I loved Treat Williams in Phantom. Was such an over-the-top fucking villain. It's like, hey, doctor, why don't you look at this through the microscope that stabs you in the eyeballs? Because I'm a villain. Or Treat Williams is a hero in Deep Rising. Steven Sommers, I love him as a director. Also directed The Mummy and even Van Helsing. I liked G.I. Joe. So no one got convicted of anything today. We still got the trials going for Kim Potter did a wrap up. Apparently Kim, what the fuck's her name? Kim Fox? Lied about being in contact with the Smoolays. She was in contact with Juicy's sister, and she might be in some trouble.
It's Chicago. She's fine.
Yeah. It's so fucking dirty. And I will not be voting for Trump if he attempts to run in 2024. And it'll be the same reason I was against Biden running in 2020.
The age?
The age. Exactly. He's snappy and smart and everything, but 4 years is 4 fucking years, especially at that age.
Right.
And my grandma lost it. My grandma was brilliant. And I actually love my grandma. I still wouldn't have voted her president.
My concern is that there will be a fight between Trump and DeSantis. And it's going to split the party. And if DeSantis gets the nod, Trump's going to run like Ross Perot ran, and we're going to end up with Hillary goddamn Clinton.
No. Trump wouldn't do that. Trump does not like to lose. And he has given his support to DeSantis. So, now the question is, I like what DeSantis is doing in Florida, and I want him to keep it up in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know fuck all about his lieutenant governor.
Yeah, I don't either.
And he'll only be a year into his second term. I don't want to see that happen either.
It's going to come down to whether or not this COVID bullshit is over by 2024.
2022. If they can keep this bullshit up in the votes in 2022, because there are people out there who are incredibly not happy about what happened in 2020, and they were already upset about 2018. But this shit in Georgia, that's the second time they stole an election, and they tried to do it with Stacey Abrams, and they tried to do it. They got it with Biden. A little less so, but I'm still sure that some shenanigans happened with the two senators.
Yeah.
All right, so the Maryland governor came out being against Trump in 2024, saying he hope he doesn't run. He's a bane to the party. Yada yada yada. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what the GOP governor of Maryland says. Trump lost Maryland by 33. He clearly is not a type of Republican I would want to have backing me anyway. But Trump had an additional 5 million votes in California. And he still didn't win California. And no one was saying California was stolen. It's the odd numbers that showed up in the 5 battleground states, including Michigan, in which parts of Wayne County, who have no voters because it's desolate, had 6,000 votes. That's a 6,000% increase over zero because nobody lives there. That nobody talks about. People resigned over this nonsense, but it's not being addressed by anybody.
Right.
That's shenanigans.
Look what happened here in Maricopa County.
Fox News calling Arizona at 12%, but not calling West Virginia or Virginia at 92%.
Or Georgia at 98%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Georgia still not going to call. There's 90% of the votes in, and it looks like a solid Trump win, 92%. But we're going to go ahead and call Arizona for Biden. What?
They had 2 million votes in Georgia. 92% in. 600,000 more votes came in. And no one raised an eye. No one batted an eye at 600,000 votes at 92%.
All of this speaks to is that the establishment, there's no party behind this. It's both parties. It's the establishment. It's the mono party. Has that much control. And they had to leverage every ounce of it to get what they got in 2020.
Wayne County boarded up windows. Not boarded up, but put a plasterboard over windows so you couldn't see the counting. That's
Shady
absurd.
Shady shit.
Yeah, and the states that stopped counting but still kept counting but sent everybody home, you can't have stuff like that in a fair and honest election. There are states that don't even, or countries that don't even use computers that manage to do a better job.
Yeah. That's why Dominion is fighting so hard to keep everything secret. Because they were part of the fix. It's why it's why they put up such a fight to just audit Maricopa County.
Mm-hmm.
I firmly believe this. I firmly believe that it is entirely possible that Joe Biden legitimately won in 2020. I'm just going to need you to show me the proof. And when you put up a huge fight about even showing me the proof, all that does is reinforce my thought that there's some shady shit happening here. You need to show me that he actually won. You need to show fucking receipts. Clear and unambiguous receipts that he actually won. Because I think it's possible.
I want to see every signature.
I think it's possible.
Because there was absolute hate for Trump, no doubt. No doubt.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But there was no love for Biden. The support for Biden was literally, we just need your corporeal form. You don't even have to have a functioning brainwave. Because they don't care about Biden. It's about ending Trump. And it's derangement. These people they're people attacking people because of what the news said about those people. I don't believe a single thing they said about QAnon. Because of how they treated the teabaggers. My grandma was a teabagger. And you're going to call them teabaggers? Mock them for wearing classic hats? Like the tri-horn hats, something... I mean, I wouldn't wear one. But you're going to mock that? You're going to mock them sending tea to the representatives? That's hilarious.
Yeah, it represents an important founding event in the history of this country. It's significant. It's
our founding fathers
and a little bit kitschy, but it's got a purpose behind it, and to mock it means you didn't learn the lesson. You did not learn your lesson.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we are with this Build Back Better bullshit. They didn't learn the lesson. They're going, and I'm starting to develop this theory. They're going so hard because they know they're losing. They know they're not popular.
Absolutely losing.
They know they don't have the will. So they've got to cram as much stupid ass shit in the short time frame that they've got, which is right the hell now, to get as much stupid shit passed, to do as much damage as possible before the actual will of the people finally puts them back in their place.
Mm-hmm. I want to see them lose. I want to see them lose bad.
But the problem is the establishment. Again, we're talking people like Cyclops, what's his name from Texas? Crenshaw. And Lindsey Graham and the Battle Turtle. They're all part and parcel of this mono-party bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can all say the right things at the right times, and yeah, you get my support when you do that, but the actions that you take have to follow, and for those three, they haven't.
Mm-hmm. But it also doesn't help when you have Boebert's not bad, but Green, Marjorie Taylor Greene, is a little bit of a wackadoodle.
Yeah.
Not as much as they seem to try to make her, because I don't believe anybody that's much of a wackadoodle. But
AOC exists, dude.
AOC's just a retard.
Right. But yeah, she is to the Democrats what Marjorie Taylor Greene is to the Republicans.
But no one's trying to kick her out of her spots, though. They're trying to do that to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Well, they have. But yeah, I think they're legitimately scared of Lauren Boebert, because Lauren Boebert, well, she's animated,
attractive.
Well, that too, but yeah, she's not the Looney Tune that Marjorie Taylor Greene is. Like, they're worried that she's going to actually be effective.
Which I have no problem with her actually being a Looney Tune. Like that's not nearly as crazy's fine. I have more of a problem with evil. And most of these people, like the Boeberts and the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, went to Congress to stop this nonsense. You know, they don't want to be there. It's the people that want to be there that I have a problem with. And you wanting to be there as a crazy person, I'm more fine with, and you wanting to be there because you're an evil person.
Yeah, I've actually got some concerns when it comes to my congressman, who I like. Don't get me wrong, he's been doing a lot of the right stuff, but I kind of worry that he's now become too entrenched and might be compromised by the mono party. Same with Schweigert. Schweigert, Biggs, and a little bit. Who's the dentist from up north? The guy who put out the cartoon that showed where he put the face. Why can't I think of his name? God damn it. I might have to look it up.
Gross.
Gosar. Yeah. Paul Gosar.
I knew there was a G, an R, and an S.
Yeah, it's. I like Paul Gosar, but he might be a little bit. I don't know. He might be a little bit too compromised. Same with Biggs. Schweigert for sure. Schweigert's been there for a good long while. 10 years, basically. Same with Gosar. Gosar and Schweigert have been there too long. And they might be compromised at this point. But then, we've got to go against people like fucking Raul Grijalva, Ruben Gallego, and these fucktards. They're just dirty as shit.
I don't know shit about my congressman. It's Chuck Fleischman. And I know I don't like his pedigree. Born in New York City.
New York City?
Yeah. The University of Illinois at Champaign. I'm like, I'm sorry, you were born in Manhattan. And the best thing you got is like you're distantly related to Harry Houdini. No, he's not. He's not Jewish. He's whatever the hell Austro-Hungarian is.
Catholic.
Yeah.
Which so is Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, so that doesn't tell you a damn thing.
Well, like the 2 times I've seen him, he's been at Roman Catholic churches. So almost positive not a Jew. Because he was able to step inside him and didn't catch on fire. But do not like the guy. Don't dislike the guy per se, but my old congressman was Thaddeus McCotter, and I love Thaddeus McCotter. Thaddeus McCotter got up in the Senate or on the House chamber, and I said, talking about No Child Left Behind, he says Republicans like kids, and not just with a side of fries. I was like, is that a Cannibal reference? I fucking love it. He had a band called the Second Amendments. Also a lawyer. But he had a weird sense of humor and kind of looked like a Nosferatu. But I enjoyed him. Black Magic says Michigan is Jewish, down one down. Yeah. There's a banner that was talking about how 80 years ago wasn't that far away or wasn't that long ago, and to stop the anti-Jew hate. And I'm like, there's a difference. Like, a black guy punches out an Asian guy, and that's a black guy punching out an Asian guy. It's not a monolith. But there is a weird amount of shit going on in Hollywood that is specifically Jew-oriented.
Well, Larry David even made fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
Himself, one of the chosen people.
Yeah, but they mock it. And the Jewish religion is more fucked up than the Muslim religion, but gets all the PC clearance it needs. Half of Jewish holidays are either celebrating the deaths of their like the children of their rulers or their enslavement. It's like there's a reason that you people have been hounded throughout all of known history. It's because the bullshit you pull. Like, we want to talk about female genital mutilation. No one talks about male genital mutilation, which is a part of the Jewish religion. They undermine every country that they go to. So yeah, a unifying authoritarian is going to have a problem with that. Hitler was not right-wing by any means.
No,
He was an
not
animal
right.
rights supporting vegan. Socialist.
Yeah. He was a different brand of commie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he fought the communists because they were a different brand of commie than his commie.
Right. But yeah, they were socialists. Of course, given the period of history, just about every government was socialist in some way, shape, or form. You had two choices. You had imperialist or socialist. And there was an either-or option at the time.
J Fresh woke on the JQ. Never not been woke on the JQ. No, actually,
here's the thing with that gets me on that is that it's the people of Jewish heritage, not necessarily the religion, just the heritage that seems to be the self-insulating in crowd that does all this sort of thing. Because look how much shit the Hasidics get, even from Jewish people.
I don't have any trouble with the Hasidics. I don't consider them the same thing as the Jews. When I reference the Jews, I am very much ignoring the Hasidic population, which would be like ignoring the not so much the Mennonites, but like the Amish when talking about Americans and their love of technology. I exclude the Hasidics, which is like they're fucked up in their own way with like their they leech off like the Israeli government and they get like funding for it, and which is like a little bit of socialism to me, but let them have that. I don't care. They're not the ones buying up news markets and talking shit about the Muslims while doing equally as shitty things in their own right. I find what Israel does, some of it's very interesting. And it's like, oh, you can have a wall around Israel, but you're against a wall around America.
Okay, so
literally.
What's your take on Judd Hirsch?
Please don't be Mossad, because I love me some Judd Hirsch.
Right. So here's what I'm thinking, and I'm.
But I love me some Jeff Goldblum too.
I'm not trying to be too anti-Semitic here, but it's like it's the practicing Jews, the ones who go to synagogue. I don't seem to have a problem with any of them. It's just the ones of the heritage that are mucking up stuff like Hollywood and the banks and stuff like that. And it's an insular in crowd that self-protects and self-regulates. And it's no different from any other in crowd. I mean, you can say the same thing of the people that graduate Yale or Harvard. I mean, it's the same kind of bullshit. You know, they scratch each other's backs. Okay, it is what it is. But yeah, when Larry David is out there making fun of it, you might have a problem.
Okay, yes, but like the Harvard man who's a senior manager and he's going to become assistant VP will suggest a Harvard man get put in his place. But he fights for that position and possibly gets it and replaces it with a Harvard man because Harvard pride or whatever is fine. But Jews are actively going a step above that. They're seeing the next run up and saying, but he's the son of the owner. That's nepotism, which is bad. But when he gets that spot, he then puts in somebody from his temple in it, and he undermines the entire company every step of the way, which is why they love that they own Disney. That they get off to the fact that they now run Disney, who was anti-Semitic, because he would not allow them to be in there. It's a perversion that they love. Judd Hirsch and Jeff Goldblum are both from Independence Day.
I guarantee you, somebody like Joy Behar hasn't seen the inside of a temple in half a century.
But doesn't need to, because she listens to the talking points and gets approved to keep doing her shit.
Whereas somebody like Judd Hirsch seems to be an observant, if not non-Orthodox Jew.
But nobody attacks you for attacking Judge Hirsch.
What's to attack Judd Hirsch for? You see my point? There's nothing to attack him for. He's genuinely, seemingly a nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I like that. The I'm not Jewish, no one's perfect. I like that line. That's stuff like that. That's it's a dig, but it's a funny dig, and anything like that is fine with me. I don't mind a little competition between the masses. My parents died when I was young, and I often spent my Christmases, because my family did Christmases on the weekends because they had other families and whatnot. My brother had his kid young, so he was involved with his family, and I often was alone for the holidays. And eating Chinese at a restaurant alone, I often would get adopted by a Jewish family for the day, and they wouldn't let me pay for anything, and we'll talk about how it was their day, and don't forget, Grace was one of us, and we would go to the movies and go to Chinese, and that would be our Christmas day. And those people, great people, loving people, regular fucking people, not the people I'm talking about. When I say the Jews, there is an encompassing elitism to it.
Which is what Larry David was making fun of.
Larry David's one of them.
He is, but he was also cognizant enough to call it out when it was there. It doesn't do anything to fix it, but just calling it out.
Like Mel Brooks, probably one of them. Also, probably one of the hardest hitter on Jews and Jew jokes that there is, because he's a fucking regular guy too.
Right.
He wasn't head of Mossad, which Mossad, badasses. Like, I don't care what you say about Jews. Mossad, genuine badasses. And I can get behind like some of the stuff that they do, but it's the undermining of the society that they're in, that they always do, that I cannot abide. Because they have no respect for these societies, because they're not Jewish societies. I, to this day, do not understand how America is a Judeo-Christian society. I don't understand what they bring to it that wasn't brought by the Quakers and the others who were chased out. Where's the Judeo?
The Judeo is the Old Testament. That's where it comes from. The fact that Christians still hold true to, for the most part, to the Old Testament, just superseding it with whatever's in the New Testament that might conflict. The Old Testament is still part of the tradition. It's still the foundation that Christianity is built on, because, again, Jesus was a Jew. That's why it's Judeo-Christian. It's because it's Christianity is more than Judaism, but Judaism is still a part of it. That's the mindset. That's why we're a Judeo-Christian country. It's also why we try not to persecute any religion, honestly. At least that was the theory. when we started off, because nobody gave it. And that comes from a place where when you're waspy and you just have that much control of, the predominance in the area, that it's not a big deal. You can be accommodating to Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, Taoists, whatever you want at that point, because it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect your governance in your region. You can be tolerant and you can be accepting of that, and there's no threat to you. Unlike somewhere, unlike Muslim countries where you can't be anything but Muslim or you get persecuted. But even Israel itself is very tolerant of both Christianity and Islam. And that's not something that most other religions are okay with.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Tim Pool said something interesting the other day, and it's kind of give or take in this line. The white supremacy to the people who are calling everything white supremacy actually means white majority.
Yeah.
And I was like, well then, shit. They're not wrong. But that's not white supremacy.
Correct.
I am a great big fat guy. A chair at McDonald's, a booth at McDonald's. I can't fit in a booth. I do not fit my big ass gut in a booth. When you sit in the booth next time, you look down, you're like, look at all this room I have here. I don't got that room. It's all fat. At no point have I ever gone and said, there ought to be a law. Because I did this myself. There was a time in which I did fit in booths. And then I turned 8. No, I was much older than that. But I was like, oh, shit. Well, it looks like I'm not going to be sitting in booths much longer. And then I didn't fit in booths. And I had to sit in chairs. And some chairs don't fit me. Like, literally ass hanging off a chair. And it's like, okay, that's not for me. But it is for 95% of everybody out there. 90% if you actually go on the other side and it's people too small to sit in the chairs. But there's boosters and assistants for that. Fatty. This is not a thin supremacist issue. I'm in the top 1% of fat motherfuckers on the planet. The world should not be shaped to fit also me, because then you have to remodel every fucking thing. But we are a country of laws. Follow the fucking laws.
Stop breaking the law, asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it works for everybody. Stop it. I just think you're undermining a good thing, and the stupid shit that AOC says about one senator having all this power. 51 senators, bitch. In this case, 52. It's not just one. Like, the mere fact that there's people on Twitter who think this way, like, shows how wrong they are. And I could understand somebody who is ignorant of what's going on and don't understand that, well, I vote for a representative, but then there's two people from the Senate that I vote for who are basically representatives, but they have 6-year terms instead of the 2-year term. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, because it wasn't supposed to be that way.
Correct.
The Senate was supposed to represent the state. And I think it'd be a very different country we're living in right now if between 26 and 29 Republican states put forth Republican senators. White supremacy, my ass. Joy Reid makes it sound like it's a fucking superpower, whiteness.
Yeah, pretty much.
And when did
But
Karen become an ethnic slur?
well, that's just it. Let's go. Let's before we get to the Elon shit. Back to your point
Okay.
about it being 51 or 52 senators, not just one. Let's look at that talking point because that's exactly what happened on Comedy Central when they had Charlemagne the God, whatever, um, interviewing Kamala Harris. Well, who's the president? Who's really the president? Is it Joe Manchin or is it Joe Biden? Okay, that's an intentionally crafted talking point to single out one guy that they couldn't bring back in line, ignoring the 50 to 51 others that were also saying no.
There's nothing you can do to Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin is a fucking rhino, or an unrhino. He's like he's a Republican in everything but name.
Yeah. Well, and
You are not going to go and get him voted out in West Virginia.
He's a blue dog Democrat, which we need a hell of a lot more of.
Yeah.
I mean, you could consider Lindsey Graham a blue dog Democrat, except he's wearing a Republican skin suit. He votes like a blue dog Democrat. He votes like a blue dog Democrat.
Yeah.
And more, 60, 70% of the time for us Republicans, that's absolutely fine. We're okay with that. Because they haven't absorbed the full force stupidity that the modern Democratic Party has become.
Which is progressive, yes. Which we need to stop calling them libtards and things like that, because they're not libtards. They're progressives.
Well, and he's stopped doing this and become his own sort of problem. But Dave Rubin's use of the term regressive was pretty apt. And it just kind of fell off and went nowhere. But they're regressive. They're not even progressive. They're regressive. They're making shit actively worse for the vast majority of the population.
Mm-hmm. They want to bring back segregation.
So much so, they got it on the California ballot.
It's absurd. Absurd. All right, so now we go to what was the thing I fucking just said?
Joy Reid and Elon and...
Oh, yeah. How is she going to say that Karen's for African Americans and not for that African American? What the shit?
Because she's got to make everything about race. I mean, she's literally retarded. They're running on fumes. They're so unpopular, and they've got no actual ground to stand on, that's the kind of shit that they're forced to pull at this point. It's sheer propaganda bullshit that a certain percentage of the country will actually suck up like it's manna from heaven because they're fucking retarded and outsource their thinking to other fucking people.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like, we want to talk about this, but there's nothing really to talk about because it's so fucking stupid. And it's stupid to take away from what might actually be important.
You got another call?
Yeah, it's my son. He's...
Hey, Dad, you still on the phone? Joy Reid is bald. Yeah, I'd like, you got a lot of nerve calling up Karen shit when you're wearing a fucking wig that is a white girl haircut. Joy Reid has 2 flat tires for a neck. Whichever one of you bastards told me about Tom Cruise's middle tooth, I hate you.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, thank you. I hate you.
Yeah, you can't unsee it, can you?
Nope. That is something I definitely can't unsee. Like, son of a bitch. How are you fucking sexiest man alive with that tooth? Are you not smiling in that picture?
Yeah.
Elon Musk making Times Man of the Year. Senator Karen calling him Mooch of the Year. That's fucking ridiculous. Apparently, he's
Again.
going to pay $13 billion in taxes. I don't
Yeah.
even know how that's possible.
Well, his companies. But
He's going to pay $13 billion in taxes.
makes a lot of money. But yeah, Senator Warren is just, she's doing anything she can to get back in the limelight because she's been quiet for a year. Like, she's getting no play. She's pissed off that she's not getting the attention she used to get. Not understanding that she did it to herself. You know, she's better off just fading back into the woodwork and being the senator from Massachusetts and holding on to what she's fucking got. But she can't do that. She's got to get out there and pretend like she's important. And that's all this is. It's just a grab for it. And Elon put her right in her fucking spot. Yeah, I paid $11 billion in taxes this year.
Now, Magic, you say that the Fox News anchors called Arizona were Jewish. Now, the Fox News anchors don't actually call it. They have what they call the election room, or the election center, or the election hub, or something like that. That actually puts out where and who and what is going on. They're not doing it themselves. The election center or the election room or whatever it's called is probably where the Jews are, or the straight up Democrats, because Chris Wallace, who absolutely is a Democrat, is now moving over to Hiawatha. I like that. I like that one. Is now moving over to CNN Stream. Chris Wallace also asked Trump to denounce white supremacy for the 19th time on his second debate, while also allowing Joe Biden to claim that Antifa is a myth. So, yeah, I hate the news. And I actually used to think investigative journalists were scuzzy. Like the Fox local has a Hall of Shame. And I was like, I don't like that. And it turns out I was wrong. I did like it. I liked what they're doing, and I miss it, and I appreciate what they're doing over at Project Veritas, which has now gotten limited by all of Twitter. And I expect Instagram will be following shortly behind. It's very disappointing. Yeah. The Murdoch, Rupert Murdoch,
they're
Republican. His son's not.
They're not Democratic operatives. You got to stop putting those labels on people. They're establishment operatives. They don't give a shit if they're Democrat or Republican, as long as they got the meat hooks in them and can control them like the puppets that they're supposed to be. That's why they're so upset about Trump. That's what their hard-on was for Trump. He was never supposed to be allowed to win. They absolutely tried to rig it, and they thought they rigged it enough in 2016. That's why they were so sure that Hillary was going to be the winner, and were flabbergasted, left flat-footed and slack-jawed when Trump won, because they could not roll it back once that happened. So they spent 4 years reinforcing, retesting, making sure that Joe Biden or anybody, it didn't matter who it was, as long as it wasn't Trump, that's the person that was going to win in 2020. The Democrats are stupid. Okay? Their platform is garbage. but it's only there to give opposition to the Republicans and maintain the fallacy that you actually have a choice. You don't. They'll give you a choice between grape shit and cherry shit. Either way, you're eating shit, and that's intentional.
Richard?
They need to be purged from our society. Burnt
Oh,
out
God.
with fire.
That was Sean talking. I welcome our overlords. Or Jewish overlords, probably.
Well, see, they would. They'd prefer Mitt Romney over Trump for certain.
Oh
But
God, I fucking hate Mitt Romney.
you've got a Mormon problem that there's a reason they're not letting Mormons win. Jeff Flake is a good example. Mitt Romney is a good example. They'll play the game to a certain point, but at a certain point that stops with the Mormons. And they're worried about where that stops with them because they can't get them to do everything they need them to do. That's why they don't like Mormons. Now you watch Wyoming next year. Watch Wyoming because there is no way that if you know anything about the voting populace in Wyoming that Liz Cheney wins. Okay? But she might win, quote unquote, win in Wyoming because her family did to that state's political machinery the same thing McCain did to Arizona's. It's corrupt from jump. Everybody involved has the taint of corruption on them. Whether you like them or not, they're all corrupt. Kind of like the GOP here in Arizona. We're still purging them, and it's not going well. But they've got to do the same in Wyoming. So don't be surprised when Liz Cheney somehow doesn't get primaried, even though she absolutely should. And I'll good luck finding a Republican voter in Wyoming that doesn't want to get rid of Liz Cheney. But somehow she'll still win. And that's where, the fix is in. That's where the corruption lies, is that these monoparty, monolithic, aristocratic people that think they're fucking better than you have their hooks in. They've already organized their systems, and it's really difficult to shine light on, let alone get rid of. But that's the work that needs to be done.
I agree.
And I don't know where they're getting... That's the thing I'm trying to come to terms with. It's like, where is this... I understand power wants to just insulate itself, keep itself safe and non-threatened and everything like that. But where are these stupid monoparty ideas coming from? They can't be coming from just George Soros. They've got to be coming from other places. Why are they doing such intentional damage to the actual system? It's got to be more than just in the name of controlling their own power, of maintaining their own power. It's got to be something more than that.
Everybody, if you have money, a fire sale's a good thing because you can buy it up. So Anytime there's a fire sale, it's a good thing.
Yes. But, I mean, what's the difference between, like, a true believer, let's say, like de Blasio, who's been a commie his entire life, who's probably a true believer and just fucking stuck on stupid because he believes stupid things, versus somebody like a Liz Cheney who knows outright what she's doing is a lie, nefarious, and evil at its core.
I don't see a difference between Liz Cheney and anybody else in that uniparty.
I mean, you've got outright evil people like Liz Cheney and Eric Schiff.
Adam.
Adam Schiff, whatever. Eric Swalwell, same thing. They're interchangeable. Fucking douchebags. You've got outrightly evil people like Mitt Romney. But then there's like the true believers, like AOC. She's stupid, but she's literally a true believer of her stone stupidity. Same with De Blasio. Same with, well, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Same thing. True believers. Like, I find the true believers less threatening than the conniving evil that is the ruling mono party. And it's got the actions they're taking are so detrimental. Like, I cannot understand why they're going down that road. And they're insistent upon going down that road.
I kind of find them in like the same group as the born agains. They're just like the most insistent people. I don't like it.
Well, I mean, and it's like they refuse to look at history because you push too hard, you get the French Revolution. And that went well for exactly fucking nobody. And doubly so if you had means at all. Like, if you were gutter poor, you were pretty much safe, unless somebody needed a scapegoat for something. But if you had any sort of wealth or control or power in the French Revolution, you were just going to get your head removed. That can and probably will happen again. And I don't know that these fools have enough sense of reality and enough humility to put their egos aside just enough to avoid that fate.
I don't like it.
I just, that, and I don't understand the people that support it. I get being for your team, but at some point you've got to recognize your team sucks. And I mean, there's plenty of Republicans out there that have identified Republicans that suck. The Democrats just fall in line almost all the time. Repeating outwardly, just received opinion falsehoods like they're the gospel. And I don't understand it. I mean, COVID's a good example of that. The fucking Russian collusion's a good example of that. Just refuse to look at the actual reality that's in front of their faces and assimilate it. They have to be told what to think and only act on what they're told to think by the people that they think know what they're fucking talking about. Why are the Bears up, Black Magic? They should be down for the winter.
What Bears is he talking about?
Yeah, he says he has to go lay down some bear repellent.
Yeah. Um, I blame everybody that's not me.
I'm not you.
So you're to blame.
I guess. I guess I don't do enough. I don't know.
OC thinks makes me thankful I didn't go to college. Every time she opens her mouth and proves her ignorance. Yeah, she says some dumb shit, but then on occasion she's says some really dumb shit.
I think we should turn this around, and instead of just praising Joe Manchin for saving us from the Build Back Better bullshit, we should start going after the 48 or 49 senators that thought it was a good idea to ruin the economy even further, even though it's suffering currently. I guess Mark Kelly is up for re-election. He's one of them, by the way. Is up for re-election next year. And I haven't heard a peep from that fool all year. Oh, so this hasn't even come to the floor. He's just signaling his intent to vote no.
Yeah. But I won't until like the 5th or something like that because the year's done.
Fucking Vox. Democratic senators represent 43 million more people than the Republican counterparts. They're senators. They don't represent the people. They represent the states.
Vox is trash. But didn't Vox wasn't it Vox that just came out with the wasn't it Vox that just came out with the pedophiles?
Hmm? They come out in support of pedophiles?
No, with the pedophile stuff that they like they had like a 10-year search in the FBI, the CIA, and they finally got the CIA. When did that? Wasn't it Vox or was it HuffPo? somebody I disliked that ended up actually having
I think it was HuffPo.
the information and actually came out with it.
I think it was the HuffPo.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Well, no, the HuffPo is just stupidly liberal, but they're liberal. They're not progressive. So it wouldn't shock me that they would come out with the actual sauce on something that's egregious like that.
CNN is rife with kid touchers. Completely agree.
Apparently. And if not actual kid touchers, ones who want to protect them.
Or fantasize about it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm depressed enough. We got anything else we need to cover?
I don't know. We could try to end on something positive. It is Christmas after all.
This is our last episode before Christmas. So if we don't see you for the 25th, Merry Christmas. Send me a message if you're one of those fans of the show who celebrate Hanukkah. Just need you for a list I'm creating. It's not a shit list, I swear. It's a Schindler. It's completely different. I've just gotta send you an oven. Yeah, didn't really approve much of. We doing one next week?
I don't see why we wouldn't.
I can think of
Well,
6
okay, so yes, but I'll be on call.
No, that's fine.
And I figured the week between Christmas and New Year's is a good time to be on call because I can't imagine anybody's going to give too much of a shit up if their shit doesn't work for a week. That week specifically. So we should be fine. So yes, I plan on doing one next Monday.
All right, let's do it then. Let's get out of here.
All right. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
All right, post this and see you on the other side.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Well, I believe in good vibrations is what creates a beautiful nation.